shot the. We don't say fired because that has a different connotation. They shot their torpedo anyway, and so that was on. Everything's recorded, and I said that because there was a tanker coming through the range. It's open ocean, even though it's a tracking facility, and so the ship went right over where the torpedo shut down. And so they said that I caused they couldn't find the torpedo. The ships went and the helicopters went out trying to find it. They couldn't find it. They said I was responsible for a Mark 48 torpedo being lost, which is a pretty heavy asset. And I said it's not lost. And this is because of my remote viewing. They go, "What do you mean?" I said it is floating at about 50 to 100 feet below the surface. It didn't surface, but it's not gone. And the ship didn't hit it. It's going to be caught in the prevailing current, and it's going to wash up in Haiti. And there you go. How could you possibly know that? So they called a investigation. I mean, it wasn't a. Well, it's not a tribunal, but it's an investigation nonetheless. And I had quite a few admirals, and I was grilled 8 hours a day for a week. And I presented all my material. The range people like me, so they had all the tracking material, where things shut down, where the ship went. And I said, it couldn't have hit it because it's here and the torpedo was this far away. Now, it's close. And then they said, okay, all of what you said is correct. You did tell the submarine negative. You have weapons tight, so they are not allowed to fire. So you're cleared that way at least. And, my captain was impressed. He said, it's amazing that you're not going to Leavenworth and going to a court martial from this. So from there, 2 weeks later, or excuse me, 2 months later, the captain called me to his office, and I thought, he just said, my commander said the captain wants to see you in his office. I knew I'm not, in trouble. So I went in. He said, "How do you know what you know?" "Oh, they found the torpedo in Haiti. So a fisherman found it and got it in a net and called the number on it to get the reward for the." They go, "Yeah, how do you know all that?" "I just do." He goes, "You're always amazed me, but you're right. That's exactly what happened. So your record is completely clear." So, that's a different type of hearing. It's not like what they're going to, because I wasn't absolutely guilty to where I'd be then sent to a court martial. It's a different type of hearing, but nonetheless, that was pretty rough. I was grilled like crazy, and I just, at the end of every day, I was so washed out. I'd go work out on the beach and with my martial arts to calm myself down.
Yeah. I'm just thinking to myself right now, that is absolutely what probably happened. These generals were court-martialed out of there, and
Yep.
that just tells me we are prepared for what's coming next. Can you
Hmm.
give my audience some insight on what you believe is coming next, according to your intel, according to your research? What do you see? How do you see this playing out in the next few months, Gene? Everything that's
Well, actually,
within our
what's happening?
country, with Israel, the hostage release, the whole thing.
Yeah. So actually, what is happening is the alliances are ahead now because they have intel about everything the deep state is going to do before they do it. So they were going to create a civil war in the United States with all the people, the military age fighting men, illegals that came in. Trump's deported a lot of them ahead of time, but you can't get them all.
No, there's millions here.
Yeah, there's 51 million that came in during Smokey Joe's term as the head of the corporation. So because of that, like what happened is happening in Chicago. The governor of Chicago is creating a wall so that the ICE and the military can't get through. So he thinks. That'll last about 5 minutes when they come in there. They'll bring tanks in. Those
Yeah.
are aircraft, and those will come. They'll blow the bejeebers out of that, and they'll be through that in nothing flat. I mean, that's nothing for trained military to go through something some civilian governor thinks is
Yeah.
gonna. I mean, you're not trained hard, hard military, dude. You're not going to make it.
I mean, all
So
they got to do is section off McDonald's and Burger King and close in on the perimeters. And once these guys can't go get their fast food or go home to their couch and lay there anymore, they're done.
yeah,
These
it's
protesters
like
are done. They're not battle ready. They're not fit for this. It's over. And that's why I was going to ask you: are we going to see? Because I've also heard foreign military is involved. Like there are some Chinese, Iranians, Hamas that are more military trained or hardened. They're not Antifa. They're actually Muslim Brotherhood, the whole thing, and they're actually using the tunnel systems below the cities.
Well, there's small stuff like you can use the sewer system itself.
Right, they
They
do that here in El Paso, by the way. I know the illegals that go through the sewer system all the time. But
Yeah,
I mean, is there elaborate tunneling systems that maybe the Hamas or whoever is using to attack?
nothing but like the regular uh, drain systems, because the alliance has the rest
Got
locked.
you.
And so with the Chinese and the other groups like some Iranian and things like that in there, and Hamas and Ukrainians, a lot of Ukrainian actually, that are Ukrainian are pretty seriously battle hardened. They've been
Oh
fighting a
yeah,
long time.
they're tough
So
dudes, man. That's a
yeah,
different breed right there.
so like with Operation Midnight Hammer, they showed one where they got an apartment building surrounded and went with 300 and then arrested up to over 12. I believe, or I think it was over 2 dozen, so it'd be over 24. But those are just Santiago and those kind of guys, which some of them have gone to Ukraine and gotten training and then come back to be part of this. So there are some that do have the training and they do have the weapons like Stinger missiles and that stuff that went into the black market. Because like over half of them went to Ukraine, actually wound up in a black market and came back to the U.S. to be used for this. That was done on purpose. So that's why they didn't want any accounting done because they were planning this out, the deep state, and Trump knew that, and the alliance knew that. So they've already compensated. When they say they've grabbed a weapon, a lot of weapons, and they give you a number, multiply that by 10, and add that the weapons are automatic weapons that you would see in Ukraine, and
Damn.
including missiles, drones, all of it. They're grabbing all of that stuff. That's in Portland, that's in Chicago, that's in Memphis, that's in all the cities they're currently in. There's a lot of other cities besides Portland and Chicago right now they're involved where they've got military. Trump's already got military sent in there.
Okay, so this seems to me like is there going to be an event that kicks off? Is Trump going to sign an insurrection act after, like, with a certain event that kicks off, or are we going to see uh, Trump just make the move without an event kicking off? What I'm trying to say here is, do we wait for the deep state to play their hand and then counter them in your mind, or do we move first and then wait for and then not even worry about that and just get moving? Like, how is this going to kick off? Is it going to be an arrest? Is Hillary going to be arrested? I've heard that her testimony was postponed. I mean, what intel are you getting regarding that? The arrest, an arrest happens first, an event happens first. How does this kick off?
Well, as far as the cities go, he's got a list, and he's going down that list of the ones that it's their list that they were going to activate first.
Right.
And they've already got they know that the deep state will react and try to jump the list. So they've got people ready already in all of the sanctuary cities and other ones as well, because they prepared for this, just like the Insurrection Act was signed in 2018 in his first term.
Okay. So
So it's
I've been
already,
told by other people that it was not signed. Well, it wasn't signed in January 6th. That's what I was told.
yeah,
It
it
was
wasn't
not signed
signed
on
up.
January 6th, correct?
No, it was signed in 2018.
So that's a whole different ball game. Okay, so then that would make sense to me, actually, more so. So so that's already signed. That's why he was able to take control of Biden in 2020, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so now we're at this part of we're in this situation, we're in the part of the phase that we're in the phase of the operation to now we have to quell and